Assalamu alaikum, wonderful viewers. Welcome to the Poetry Slam. So here on Eco TV International, the People's Choice, where we celebrate the power of words, the beauty of expression, and the art of poetry. I am your host, Rohetu Ture. Every week we invite talented poets to come and showcase their talent and their art of words. And today, here with me is the last king poet. I don't know whether there is a queen or not, but inshallah, he will introduce himself better shortly. But before that, you can kindly follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Sponsors are also invited. You can call on the various numbers on the screen to sponsor this program. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for inviting me. I am happy to be here.
Yeah, please introduce yourself.
Good day, viewers. I hope we are all fine. My name is Usman Baro, also known as the Last Poet King. I live in Brikama and I love spoken word. Yeah, so far that's me. And also I am an author. As you can see, I have my book here with me. And also a school teacher. Yeah.
Last Poet King.
Yes.
Last Poet King. The name itself are interesting to saying. Lafta story behind this Last Poet King and that's
Okay, that is a very important question. Coming, what I mean, I'm spoken word start kan. Akademi nyami, inte kasafero like no bate, you know. So kasafero minke, nka post na studies le on WhatsApp. Barenga musudola sudah munna mental di. Ika fa mandi amadan so. You understand? So natale in school kilin bare kumatale in senior. So because I start nung PI in my high school, yeah, there was no interaction with them. I became inspired to start poetry. So as I was writing by then, the last poet king instead of putting the last poet king. Because to me, coming dengan na own idea the last poet king meaning coming mansami alongo among fankamaya. You understand? But that is deep because at the end of the day, it's a kind of mansa di moli farmasayandi. Yena kanon sort of mulfi, but imang kudo sort of moli afu kari o I think was a kudo sort of ma understand. But ni moli farmasayandi, wofana afonsum firinya, ibajele ko waru do jela mansa ya fon ki firindile. For example, arambaro benyami kudo bidie fon abgaka fon mulle kakai as mansa. You understand? So basically, bring us to Janya ko jeje. Apa nyo ko iti muna neka ki the last poet. So why tara fana coming up in Yamimbe poetry saverola. Nara nga bondi po nara nga poet keje. So ko the last poet king. You understand? So nara otole mendenje for maybe tilomina, you know. Sa toni nara ole andela fon sita da manga mirala because coming up poet sol jele tula kuma manyafa andunde mumosi famente mbuka la fitana sila la nyango mube do silola. I like changes. I like also exploring new stuff. Wala sinanda ko ndela poetry kono mo jama bi ni be kachala tending because na ne Gambia ka fole ni bakula le barente mo ke aji ansa. So ngafu mo lego nda ma pioneer mo jama bi jemi ango ka style dol ke in spoken word poetry ni a korosi kendege ibanda last poet kin na jela aya perform ida poetry slam o aya kedula do then yo style ni ya understand. But bring me na fana ngaje ko mo jama bi jemi ango comme ka style dole da lara touré la style la flow sifa o chernoge ta ko mo farmansa abaga but maybe Umar Cham barenten lafta na la ni sila ko tan la understand. So man mira nyalla nko let me just put there the last poet king to show that actually I stand out. I'm the last. It doesn't matter how many poets would come before or after me. I'm going to be the last.
Okay.
I'm going to thank you very much. And I'm going to be the king of spoken word poetry in the Gambia. So basically that's it.
Okay. The big king the queen la kata. Ha sa ni la queen mo be nyadi le.
Na queen be cool in ne. Mimbe surprise la fa. Ndela queen is spoken word poetry.
Wala founder ndro.
Yeah. Ndela queen is poetry. Nga poetry kanole to the kata stage o minna. Nde nga show fankele, but those shows, I did not care about how they will sell out. You understand? Because at the end of the day, komika mol jami anko ka soul stage, but they have to bring a musician to boost the show. Nde buko okay. Nde la show ni mo jama ni kami anko ka ngenge. It's purely poetry. It's either ye nana for poetry kano o ikanana o mitela problem mol. And yala nga bugo sa all that shows the love for spoken word poetry. You understand? So basically that's it. Intela poetry, wala intela sungudot.
I wonder. And also, how did you discover your unique voice as a poet? Was it a gradual process for realization?
It's not a sudden realization. It's obviously a gradual process because whatever you see in this world, actually, it's like you have to take baby steps towards it. Then, as you go on, then you perfect the art of walking in that particular environment. So the space of spoken word poetry, before I came into it, I started looking at what people are actually doing in the Gambia, because I think it's very important for you to know your past. Then you know your present and be able to shape your future. So when I started looking and observing how people were going on with their spoken word poetry, which actually at some point I did not like, so that's why I decided to formulate my own pattern or my own way. I started trying to grow myself into it. And I came across, during my investigation and my research of spoken word poetry, I ended up realizing that it's actually a process of you trying to discover yourself. Because sometimes you can be talented in something because of a gift that you have in it.
Okay.
Yes. You can be gifted in something, then that gift turns into a talent. And talent can only be honed for you to grow in it. You can have a talent in something, and at the end of the day, your creation of your material is not really showcasing your talent, because talent has to be something that inspires other people. That is the basic thing about it. It's just you and your creativity that we call talent. So basically, it is not inspiring people, encouraging people towards your material, the art that you are in. That is questionable. You understand it? So basically, I try to discover myself through it. You understand? And then frequent and consistent rehearsal, because I'm going to give an example of ST. The reason why he is ST today, and he can almost remember every full stop or question mark in his lyrics, is because he constantly rehearses his music that he has sung 10 years or 9 years or 8 years ago. That is very, very important in the art. You understand? So basically that's it. I try to, hone myself, try to learn and, observe what are really the elements that I like about this particular spoken word poet that I can include in my spoken word. Basically that's the process.
Okay. And also talking about inspiration, who are the poets or writers that?
Okay, so when it comes to writing, poetry itself, I think I would say I was inspired by what is the name again? I think it's Prince. Prince is an American spoken word poet. He's a very, very renowned spoken word poet, and I think a lot of people in the Gambia actually followed because his spoken word poetry is like a motivational speech and spoken word poetry. So a lot of people are most of the time they see themselves in motivations. So when I saw that, I started writing in the way of spoken word, because already I know how like poetry is written from junior school. You understand? So when I saw that, I started writing. But who really motivated me to want to go into spoken word poetry and poetry itself is a guy called Lamin Barrow. So Lamin Barrow used to be in my high school, and when I came in grade 10, I saw him perform on stage. That was amazing. It was one of the most stunning performances I've seen a Gambian do. Until today, for me, he is one of the very few, very, very few people who actually perform spoken word poetry at the height of it. You understand? So when I saw that, I was inspired. Then I wrote my piece, I showed it to him. He looked at it, he started scratching all the nonsense that I wrote. I did not feel discouraged. I decided that, you know what, I'm going to continue doing it. And I continued doing it from 2015. I started writing until today I'm writing. I only started recitation of spoken word poetry in 2021. So what I'm trying to say is, like, I've written longer than I came to perform on stage. You understand? So that is who inspired me. That is Lamin Barrow. His performance inspired me to start spoken word poetry. Then you have again, now I remember the name, Prince EA. Prince EA spoken word poetry made me start to want to, perform spoken word poetry. Then I listened to Portia. Portia is in America, but she's a Nigerian. And a lot of people who follow spoken word poetry would know that, like, she's a very, very renowned spoken word poet. Then I follow South African poets like Modise Sangote. He's a very, very good spoken word poet. And, I like the way he delivers. Then there's another man in America also. His name is Ezekiel or something like that. So he's also a Nigerian, but he's living in America, and he does it amazing. Very amazing writer that he goes with. The guy also has a podcast on Instagram. I literally, like, I watch a lot of different spoken, but these are the very few, like, spoken word poets that are renowned, and they inspire me so much to want to do spoken word to its height. But before you ask me your next question, just to make this clear, the reason why most of the time, during the beginning of my spoken word career, people did not understand my spoken word is because I write poetry, but perform it in spoken word. So poetry is way deeper than spoken word. Spoken word is light. You can just write an essay and call it spoken word. But poetry, you have to sit down, decipher the information, and then take your time to listen to it again, and then you understand what I mean. So basically, that was what I was using. People did not like it. I did not care. You understand? So basically, I just decided to continue until today. But alhamdulillah, a lot of people now know me, and let me bluff a little. They consider me to be one of the best poets in this country. So yeah, that makes me care.
But bluff on it. And also, what does poetry mean to you, and how has that meaning evolved over time?
Okay, poetry means so much to me. Just like I said, it's because of poetry today I have written a book, and I have actually hosted or staged a lot of spoken word events. Okay, and staged a lot of events. It's because of spoken word poetry that I went and joined the Poetry Slam in 2021. I'm almost everywhere that poetry shows are happening, album launch. You understand? That is the love for spoken word that I have. You understand? And poetry itself, it's amazing. It's really amazing.
It's nice.
Yeah, spoken word poetry is amazing.
Well, about Read a Caution, what is this book all about?
So this book is an anthology. An anthology is a compilation of poems by a poet. So I decided to compile the bulk of work that I have gathered over the years. This is just a few of my write-ups I've extracted from some of my pieces, and I've compiled. So what I did was that I decided to coin a title for the book. If you can observe closely, the title of the book is called "Reap a Caution." Reap a Caution.
Like a caution.
Exactly, but it's from the word repercussion.
Okay.
So basically, this is how mostly I write. You understand? Repercussion, repercussion, repercussion. You understand? Repercussion.
Yeah.
Repercussion. Like, take every single advice that I am giving you. Repercussion. Take every single advice that I'm giving you. But also, there's going to be consequences if you read this book or you don't read it. Whether you read it or not, there's going to be consequences.
What are the consequences?
So the consequences of reading this book is that it's going to open your mind to a different dimension or perspective. You understand? Like I said, my poetry is kind of mind-boggling and also entertaining at some point. There are amazing themes and titles that you would find in this book. You might rarely find it in a book. Like, I have written this book in a way that it's really unorthodox. Like, it's not the normal way of people writing what they write and the things that they write about. I promise you, you have this book and read it, huh?
Can I have a copy?
Yeah, you can have a copy. All right. So basically, that's what I'm talking about there. There is, if you look into the book, right? I promise you, almost everything that you might think about is actually written in the book. Almost everything. For example, not almost, but like, I think I would try to make this on that because some people are kind of very problematic when it comes to interpretation. So what I'm saying is that it has themes of love and a little bit of different themes of love itself.
Okay.
So it has themes of life. and other themes of life. For example, you have things about pain, things about betrayal, things about culture. You understand our traditions, where we come from, I also have other introductions in the piece that is about myself. For example, the first piece that is in it is talking about I, EYE.
Yeah.
But that I is not this I that is about me.
Okay.
You understand what I mean? So basically, like, that is how it forces you to actually think of what you are trying to understand from what you read. It's not just a mere, these poetry books that you are seeing, because there's a difference. Someone told me, Mr. Lajirka, he's a very, very renowned person. He said, there's a difference between spoken word and poetry. When I went to make research, I realized that it's true. Sometimes people use their spoken word and put it in a book and call it poetry. No, that's not. Basically, you understand? So yeah, that is a glimpse of what is in my book.
It's a bit confusing. Well, I love this book.
Yes.
I'd like to have one.
You would have it, inshallah.
All right then. Okay, and going through your creative process, can you tell us how you take an idea and form it into a finished poem?
Okay, so this is how it's a very crazy way most of the time how I come up with a theme and a poem. So I can just sit down, right, and sometimes I feel like I want to write, and I write on my phone, and just bring my phone, think about something. For example, what do I want to write about? Let's say dancing, right? I write dancing, and I start writing about dancing. And because I have been writing for a long period of time, most of the time, alhamdulillah, it becomes easy for me to just write a piece within an hour. Within the period of an hour, I can just write a piece here 1 hour. Yes. But that is because I've taken a long period of time just consistently writing, trying to understand or master the art of writing. So in that process, it comes easy. You understand? Yes. So that helps me. So now what I do is most of the time, I have my title, right? When I have my title, then I will look at the title and write based on the title. You understand? So sometimes we make the mistake of writing on the title, but in the body, we bring in different themes. You can be talking about politics, you can be talking about corruption, then you bring, for example, Gambian people don't know how to vote. Then you go to the next stanza. You say corruption has killed a lot of people, have gone through Bagwe. You now talking about Bagwe. Then you talk about rape. In the same one piece, talking about different things.
Yeah.
So I have tried my best to make sure that I focus on the theme itself. You understand? And that is my creative process. I think about the theme in a deeper sense, in its standpoint, not looking at it from a different perspective of how this one can connect to it. No.
Yeah.
So that is my creative process. And sometimes, most of the time, when I can just randomly be in a car, right, at home. Yeah. Sometimes I can just be in a crowd, inspired by what's going on in the crowd. A lot of people have all that talent. But anyway, I don't know. That's how I write. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have any rituals or habits that helps you to get into the mindset to write?
Habits to get into the mindset of writing. A few. Sometimes, if I want to write something, but most of the time that does not really happen. When I am consuming stuff, no, I don't consume stuff because I want to write.
Okay.
No, I don't do that. It's in the process of consuming things that I am inspired to write. But I don't just get up and say, no, let me start looking at this. Maybe I can get inspiration from that. No, I don't do that.
Right.
Most of the time, I just sit down like this and it comes to me that I want to write. Like I just explained, huh? Okay, fine. Now, let's take, like I said, I can just get up and be watching something, for example, a show on the TV, and then I can be inspired by the show. Maybe something that is being said, I bring that thing out from the conversation and I write about it. Sometimes I can be reading, for example, I can be reading a book, and then from the book I can see something that I'm inspired by, then I write it. Or let's take, for example, what it normally happens to many people who write, that is, let's say, watching the news, and you see a lot of things that are happening. A lot of Gambian, I don't know if I should call them poets or spoken word poets. So a lot of them just, when they're watching news about corruption, Adam Barrow's speech, things about elections went wrong, there's war in Gaza, someone, so basically, I think the news also has contributed in inspiring a lot of people to write. But for me, yeah, it does happen. I don't just get up to say, let me look at this and it might inspire me. No, I just, maybe I'm looking at it, then I can be inspired in the process.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. And how do you handle a writer's block or moments like writing and stops don't seem to come? What do you do?
Alhamdulillah, just like I explained, for me, I start writing a piece, I must finish it.
It's a must.
Yes. No, I must, like, I'm telling you, it's crazy sometimes how I think though. But people are different, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
I don't say it's not happened to me. It happened to me. Even right now, I could be in the process of me not knowing what to write about. You understand? Yes. But just like I said, I can just get up and say, okay, now I think I have the feeling to write something, then I write. But during the process of writing, not yet though. Yes,
Okay.
I can't remember. Maybe it did happen because I'm human. I'm human. Okay, maybe it happened that at a point I'm writing, then I feel stuck on the idea. But most of the time, before I write about it, I make sure I know what to write about. And someone once told me, he said, the person told me, where do you get all this? His name is Babakar C. They call him Wisdom Poet. He told me, where do you get all this information from? You sometimes the way you bring your pieces and what you bring in them are so outlandish. Like, well, then he told me, do you make research? I do it. So for me, just like I told you, I can be looking at something, then get inspired from. But I don't say, let me look at this, because at the end of the day, you know what happens in the process. When you say, let me look at this and get inspiration from it, you might not continue consuming that knowledge. Because you were looking for something, you got it, you packed it aside.
Yeah.
But for me, I want to go in deep, understand what it's all about, then I can move on to do what I want to do. So if it comes to that, just like school, you know, they teach you first time, second time, third time, then they give you exam. They don't say, okay, let us teach you this. No problem. Now that I feel like you guys are understanding, let us go through exam. That does not happen. If that happens, everybody will fail. So with the mistake that we make, you know, Gambia, we do that. For example, if you look into this book, let's say for example, what is this? I know what is in this book. Gambian people, this is our habit. We see the title, we feel we know everything about it.
I love the part.
Huh?
No part of it.
So a lot of people, that is what we do in the Gambia, and that affects us. That affects a lot of people, not just journalists, not just spoken word poets, not just the president, not just the minister. We look at the thing, we feel we know. Wala na legislature from because what do we just look at a simple constitution, go through it. It's your job. Go through it, understand what it's all about. Then you go in favor or off favor of it. But no, you want to wait for an outsider to come and dictate your decision. That means you don't know what the thing is about. So I want to know what is in it. What is in it. Then when I'm going through my process, I can take a little bit of what I remember about that information. Then I put it there.
Okay.
How would you be stuck? No. You would
Still,
not be
is it
stuck.
stuck?
No. It is stop. No. I promise you, it is stop. No. Consume the information, then go to the process of writing.
Bahna.
Already you understand the info? No, you might not get there.
All right, so ila points, wala po prefer keep in an initial flow.
So it depends. Sometimes the poems are like na TJ. Then I can come back to it later and feel like I need to edit. Sometimes I go through it. I go through it few times to see if I have some few spelling errors or maybe like idealistic break of chain of ideas are breaking. For example, this idea is not connecting to that one. Then I edit it when I understand. But most of the time, what I do is like I go through it, then I edit it, or I go through it, I leave it, then come back and edit it. You understand? And yeah, that is how it mostly goes. Sometimes I just write it, forget it, go to the next one. I keep just writing stuff.
Okay. And then, through any poetry or conversation, sort of living or dead, who would it be?
Living or dead?
Yeah.
2 or 1? Just one. Modise Sangote. He's in South Africa.
Okay.
I wish I could have a conversation with that
Ah.
guy. Yeah. That guy? Huh? Allahu Akbar.
Alhamdulillah.
No, Let me tell you about someone in this country called Ballad Master.
Blackness.
Ballad Master.
Ballad.
Ballad Master. Aliu Jallo. That guy is dope. That guy is amazing. The way he appreciates poetry and spoken word poet, for example, he knows you are good, the way he embraces you. That is how I feel about Modise Sangori. No, poetry is spiritual, I swear.
Right,
and
nice.
when you understand it and you are doing it the right way, you would respect it. Yeah, you would not just wake up and call yourself a poet. It's a title that should be well deserving. You don't just wake up and call yourself the last poet king when you are doing nothing that is worthy to really give you the title poet. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
So now you feel like you deserve this.
Do I feel like it? No. I feel like I am trying to own it. Yes.
Why that?
The reason is because, you see, no matter what you do, there is some degree of adjustment that you need to put in. A lot of people might think I inspire them. A lot of people might think I am good. But I believe that I am not yet there. You understand? That is, even though it's just a way of branding myself to say I am the last poet king. It's like I'm branding myself because I want you to see me, that I stand out amongst the crowd. But that does not mean that I entirely like own or embody the title the last poet king. Whether you know it or not, there is one poet who is sitting down there and thinking that the last poet king. Like, do you know that I'm even better than you? So exactly, so now at the end of the day, me, what I'm thinking is that, okay, fine, if you are thinking like that, how best can I convince you? So Akamundande, woto nyimbijela for branding, but it doesn't mean that coming science and then I even feel like the last poet king sitting like that. Let me tell you, like I don't really feel like, I feel like every day there is a new thing that you learn from someone that is missing in your let's say your art, your material. You understand? So if there's anything like that, well, there's no way you can really call yourself a master or the real owner of that particular name. You understand? Because after all, from Manke Belo mold. You can do it on do it. You understand? So I'm trying to own it. Yeah, I'm trying to own it.
Own.
Yes. Oh, I'm trying to I think the right thing to say is I'm trying to live up to the name. I'm trying to live up to the name.
But say, ila poem be kono juma kilinam ila favorite font be your favorite.
Favorite?
Yeah.
What one will be?
It be the most special one then.
Allahu Akbar. Some people will think I'm bluffing.
Well, let them think.
Hindi, nasmogun wada. Wala nang ko yuko. Hello. My name is Usman Baro. The last poet king. The first of my names. I am the hello. My name is Usman Baro. First of my names, I am her firstborn son, the last poet king, the last very best poet ever to be born to this God-forsaken country. Forgive me. No, please forgive me. Forgive my frustrations. It is just that I am pissed. And who won't be? Listen, this country is sleeping in its waking. Our bounty is sleeping like the Simpsons. Our people are sloppy, tamed by the bite marks of mental slavery, nagging all about. Just turn around. Is this all the reading folks around? If truly the reading folks around to gain entry into the citadel of Greek philosophy in our libraries. Put word around, readers speak, but they don't leer around, just ask around. How many books are published for count? House frames nailed to the side of a desk and a dusty chair, go ask around, we've made peace with ignorance. I would just summarize. It is no more a bottle of how do we... Do you understand what I'm saying? So basically, like, I don't... Let me give you another piece. Why are faces so strange in the Cooper?
Kupo kupo.
So hard to read in rogo rogo. Faces don't give, they keep taking and changing in lufo lufo, but the world hasn't changed. It's still then ninku ringo ringo, a fine painting with two eyes, nose and mouth, the blabbers a lot ninku bolo bolo. You can never really know your best friend who keeps pretending in a rufo rufo, betray humanity and feels okay in a finto finto. No one human being is smarter than the other, so stop behaving in chopo chopo. Just feel the metaphor in the manjo manjo. Trust me, oh, no pincho pincho. So, I'm trying to show you style.
Yeah.
I'm trying to show you entertainment, and I'm trying to show you education. I know you might, but when I say why are faces so strange in kupo kupo, already there's a rhyming pattern.
Yeah.
That rhyming pattern, I have rhymed it in Jola. The last word that I mentioned, it's all rhymed in Jola. You understand? So basically, like, I am a taste in gum poetry. And those who know. It's not a block there. Those who know. Let me keep quiet. Yes. Yes.
Well, tell me when you're back and saying, it's even advice to a couple. La fellow poets and young man or Ninyalon Feberize.
Okay, so young one let them look up to the people who really can do it. Because that is the only way you grow. Learn from the master, then you can become a good master. But if you don't learn from the master, you might be the worst kind of disciple who is learning a little bit from everyone. You understand? So most of the time amanke comme ndabe ni level men ndabe jang nyaming amanke level defa ndabe jang nyaming amanke ko mbe mobe la times to because coming ikafta la doto molle kani noma.
Yeah.
So mo jamal ke noma ita lon na ibe focus la minto like specifically understand? So niemo approach ka ko comme like makoy amari ya je ko amantara forthcoming kuma amantara respond ka. I understand ko dunia le do nyama yala mo do je comme ka koronto le especially young people ga koronto le so même ko kan kana koronto min miliano nga bule noma hanni tol man nankam because gambia wala nyama nama fo nyentela hajiti wo ko kay mun adi bille gambeno ni nga ma fo nyam man dagal so kana ke nya trebe karanga mode ta kanu mani school ni da je teacher no teacher bukan na ke baby nice understand itela kata ya no man la ni na lamma ko ni na wati kana ni asodo iborala. Yeah, no, because at the end of the day, it'll be but taji. So what I'm saying is for young people, I want all of you to make sure that you learn from the best people, and as you are learning from them, try to be patient. You understand? It's very, very important. Patience is very, very important. And yeah, basically that's it. I think I've had fun in this interview. That's it.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you here today. Well, this is how we've come to the end of the program. With me here, Rohit Ture on Eco TV.
But wait, before you end it, have you heard my recent piece?
Not yet.
So this recent piece, what I did is that I tried to do something like, so you know, like this Nigerian people, I don't know if you know IB Quick.
IB Quick.
IB Quick, there's someone called IB Quick, a lady, very, very phenomenal lady. You know, she does spoken word poetry. We have someone called also Harvey. Harvey is a Nigerian. She also does amazing spoken word poetry. So I was inspired by some of the way in which they deliver their poems, and I decided to write a piece that has some kind of vibe of Nigerian thing.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, so this is how it goes. I know. All of us want to live the good life, but this year, your shabby nose. You go cash money like worry behind. Worry carry last. He knows boss. Sorry go them chop like the devil be chopsticks. Trust me, these days, I daydream. I want to spree kata. Pangolo. Chant golo, till I say kiye. I'm done with battlefields. This year, it is preach pattern. Says Kelle, turn to Sokoto in my Apollo. Jeans go they bow like a baobab. No apology in my contour, last. We dribble and pass fast.
Yeah,
We
fast.
were far. I am field poets who they jam 2025 go speak Yoruba. You go sabi say ninja they slap rap. Let me stop there. Yes.
So, you're not a Nigeria.
No, madam. But basically, coming point, let us learn and master the craft before we call ourselves anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's important. Yeah.
Yeah, nice piece there. Back to the inshallah.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much. It was fun having you here today. Very interesting. This is the last king point, but
The last word.
the last point. Bekili, badu julla juldum bala. Abekili hanibi. All right then. As you all follow Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more interesting episodes like this, inshallah. And then I book for Fanang. Meaning, it is on sale right now as a prime. Interesting. Inya ba yela liba kuja malan la jela live kono wo atol yalla nyaadi le rek inshallah so mo be sa try copy get. Yeah. The last point is the last king point at the killing. Thank you very much.
But I prefer the last point.
King.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye. Till next week, inshallah.